Long, long ago, in the early days of the Vietnamese land, when mountains were still young and the sea breathed slowly like a sleeping giant, there lived a poor orphan boy named Mai An Tiem. His parents had passed away when he was very small, and he grew up under the care of kind villagers. His life was simple and quiet. Each morning he woke with the mist, worked under the open sky, and each night he fell asleep listening to the wind move softly through bamboo leaves. Though his days were filled with hardship, An Tiem never complained. He believed that as long as a person worked honestly and patiently, heaven and earth would never abandon them. One year, the king traveled through the countryside. When he saw An Tiem's strong body, calm eyes, and respectful manner, he felt sympathy for the young man and brought him back to the royal palace as a servant. The palace was bright and grand, with red roofs shining under the sun and lotus ponds resting quietly in the courtyards. Yet An Tiem remained humble. He worked carefully, spoke little, and never forgot the simple life he came from. As time passed, the king trusted An Tiem more and more. Eventually, An Tiem was allowed to marry the princess and was given land, animals, and gold. From an orphan with nothing, he became a man with abundance and a family of his own. But prosperity, like calm water, can hide deep currents beneath its surface. One day, during a royal feast, someone praised An Tiem for his good fortune, saying it all came from the king's generosity. An Tiem smiled gently and replied that everything he had came from heaven and earth, and that without fate's blessing, no gift could last. These words reached the king's ears and were misunderstood as arrogance. Hurt and angered, the king ordered that An Tiem, his wife, and their child be exiled to a deserted island far out at sea, without wealth or supplies. A small boat carried the family away from the shore. The sea stretched endlessly in every direction, wide and silent. Waves rocked the boat like a slow heartbeat, and the salty wind carried the feeling of separation. Soon, the land faded into a thin line and then disappeared completely. When the boat finally stopped, they were left on a lonely island surrounded by endless water. The island was bare and quiet. White sand burned under the daytime sun and turned cold at night. Sharp rocks rose from the ground, and the wind howled across them like an ancient voice. At night, the ocean spoke without rest, wave after wave rolling toward the shore. Though the princess felt fear and sadness, An Tiem remained calm. He believed that as long as they were alive, a path would reveal itself. The first days were the hardest. With no rice or vegetables, the family dug for wild roots, gathered shellfish, and fished near the shore. At night, they sat beside a small fire, watching sparks rise into the dark sky while stars filled the heavens above them. The princess sometimes wept softly, missing her homeland. But An Tiem comforted her, saying that the sea might be vast, but the human heart must be wider. One quiet morning, as the tide slowly retreated, An Tiem noticed birds flying from the mainland and resting on the island. After eating strange fruits, the birds dropped dark seeds onto the sand. An Tiem carefully gathered the seeds and planted them near a place where fresh water collected. Under the warm sun and salty wind, green vines soon appeared, spreading across the white sand like living threads. As days passed, round fruits grew larger and heavier among the vines. When one finally ripened, An Tiem cut it open. Inside was bright red flesh, cool and sweet beyond anything they had tasted before. The family rejoiced, grateful for nature's kindness, and named the fruit watermelon. The once silent island slowly turned green, filled with life and hope. Watermelons soon grew in great numbers, more than the family could eat. An Tiem carved words into the rinds and gently placed the fruits into the sea. Carried by waves and wind, the watermelons drifted across the vast ocean back toward the mainland. People who found them were surprised by their sweetness and brought them to the king. When the king tasted the fruit and learned that it was grown by An Tiem on the deserted island, regret filled his heart. Realizing his mistake, he sent ships to bring An Tiem and his family home. This time, the sea was calm and the sky clear, as if heaven itself had forgiven the past. An Tiem returned without anger or resentment. He bowed respectfully before the king, holding only gratitude in his heart. The king restored his honor and allowed the watermelon seeds to be shared with the people. From that time on, watermelons grew across the land, becoming a symbol of patience, humility, and trust in nature. And so, the island returned to silence, the sea kept its endless rhythm, and the sweetness of the watermelon lived on, reminding future generations that those who do not give up will always find a gift waiting for them.